Today I'm going to present the card player series by Paul Cézanne. So Paul Cézanne, born in January 19, 1839 in Aix-en-Provence, France, studied law but pursued art in Paris in 1861. Influenced by the clerics Courbet, Pissarro, and Impressionists, transitioned to post-impressionism in the 1870s and died on October 22, 1906 in Aix-Provence. So, the history of card player series. Cézanne worked on the card player series in the early 1890s, during his mature period while living in Provence, France. So, the scene are thought to be inspired by local workers near his family estate in Aix-Provence. Cézanne's Cézanne had a close connection to rural life and often depicted local peasants and laborers. The card-playing motif had appeared in earlier works by 17th centuries Dutch and French artists like Linnaean Brothers and Caravaggio. However, Cézanne's approach to this theme was unique in its reduction of narrative elements and emphasis on form and composition. So, the subject and content of the artwork. Paul Cézanne's The card players depict rural peasants quietly engaged in the card games, emphasizing stillness, focus, and simplicity. The artwork celebrates the dignity of everyday life while exploring themes of harmony, routine, and human connection. Cézanne uses geometric form and balanced composition to create a timeless, universal quality. The card game symbolizes decision-making and life-quiet rituals, encouraging viewers to find beauty in ordinary moments. So that's my presentation about Paul Cézanne, the card player series. So before it ends, I have one quote of Paul Cézanne to show. So he said, "I have nothing to hide in the art, and the deeper you go, the more you can find." So that's my presentation about card player series by Paul Cézanne. Thank you.
Hey everyone, so let's talk about one of the most significant artwork of Paul Cézanne, which is the Bathers. The Bathers is also known as Les Grandes Begnuses. It is a series of paintings and studies created between the 1870s and 1905, which explores the theme of the human figure in a natural landscape. Now let's proceed to the subject and content of the Butters. First is the subject. The subject of the Butters revolves around a group of nude figures, primarily women bathing or resting in a natural setting. These figures are depicted in various poses, either longing by a river, sitting, or interacting with one another. The painting often features lush landscapes and trees and rocks framing the scene. Diba, as you can see naman sa artwork, diba, naa siya yung murag ka ng nagtapok nga mga naghubo nga tao. So, this kanang hubo nga tao is primarily woman daw. Diba, sa likod nila kay maybe river, siguro na river and a landscape of trees. Then, na mga mountain sa likod. Human figure. The women in the painting are shown in a simple, almost classical style. They are not portrayed in an idealized, soft manner, but rather in a robust, almost monumental way. Cézanne emphasizes the solidity of their forms, treating in the human body as part of the natural world. Diba, as you can see sa artwork nga ang mga nudes kay dili siya kanang klaro kayo bitaw nga kanang in a soft manner, rather kanang mura siya og porma ra hangtod sa naporma siya og nude womans nga nagtapok. Then next is the landscape. The background of the painting includes rugged landscapes such as trees, water, and rocks, which frame the human figures. The landscape itself becomes an essential part of the composition as Cézanne connects the figures to the environment around them, blurring the distinction between the human body and the nature. Sa painting, kaya na siya yung landscape, na siya yung trees nga nasa likod sa mga nudes nga maka-attract bitaw. Then the landscape itself mao siya naka center of one. Namhimo na ang nudes nga murag blurry. Then na siya river daw na kanang nasa kuan sa mga girls nga naka nodes in rocks. Next, mao to siya then mga nude figures in landscapes. Next is the content. The relationships between figures and natures. One of the key elements of the bathos is the way Cézanne integrates the human figures into the landscape. The figure seems to be inseparable from their surroundings as their bodies often share the same earthy tones and geometric shapes as the rocks and trees. The human form is a presented part of nature rather than there are something separates from it. This reflects Cézanne's interest in depicting the harmony and unity between humans in the natural world. Diba, as you can see kay kanang ang nudes kay mura siya na sumpay sa kanang mga landscape, mga trees, mga mura siya na kaan ba related ra. So mao na ang meaning na ang human form is presented as part of the nature. Iyahang artwork nga kanang woman daw is a part of the nature rather than something separate from it. Next is the simplified geometric forms. Cézanne's characteristic use of bold, simplified shapes and blocks of color is evident in the bathos. The human figures are constructed from angular forms and rounded volumes rather than delicate, realistic depiction of the body. This approach prefigures the later development of cubism, particularly in how objects and bodies are reduced to geometric shapes, like cylinders, spheres, and cones. This abstraction of form emphasizes the solidity of the figures and their connection to the natural environment. The use of color and brushwork. Cézanne uses rich, warm colors for both in the figures and the landscape with earthy tones of brown, green, and ochre. The brush strokes are visible, giving texture and content to the scene. So the bathos can be viewed as a modern remaining of the classical tradition of the nude. The subject of the bathos has been a recurring theme in art history, particularly in the Renaissance and classical antiquity. However, Cézanne's interpretation depart from the traditional, idealized depictions of the human body. Instead of the rendering of the woman in soft, graceful poses, the figures in Cézanne's work are more grounded, almost monumental, with a sense of weight and permanence. The bathos is a complex and layered exploration of the human figure, nature, and the relationships between the two through his use of geometric abstraction, bold color, and a connection between the figures and the natural world. Cézanne pushes the boundaries of a traditional representation, laying the groundwork for the developments of modern art, including Cubism. The work is a celebration of the human form, but also of its place with the larger context of nature and environment.